So, before we start a new subject, so first I will ask you, the few questions. First, what is the definition of Buddhist and non-Buddhist according to the text? Okay, not your own ideas. Yeah, Yasunam.
The definitions of a Buddhist is those who believe and propound the four seals of Buddhas.
Four seals.
Four seals. All phenomena.
Okay, anyway, yeah. So, four seals, right?
Yes, all phenomena are impermanent. All contaminated karma, all actions are contaminated karmas. All phenomena is emptiness, and nirvana is transcend peace.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't remember the exact word.
Okay, according to Sunam knowledge, so he said the definition of Buddhist must be who believe
Yes.
in four seals.
In
Yeah.
four seals.
So everybody going to agree with Sunam? Anybody going to challenge with Sunam?
Is the word belief the right word to use?
Believe, actually,
Sorry, I said propound. I did not say believe.
Alright.
okay, propound. Everybody going to agree with Sunam?
Not a matter of agree or disagree. Yeah.
Okay, I say Sunam, I have a confusion between Buddhist and Buddhist
Doctrine.
proponent.
Okay.
You have a confusion between Buddhist and Buddhist proponent.
Yes.
So I asked the definition of Buddhist.
Can we just say very simply, Buddhists take refuge in three jewels and the non-Buddhist doesn't?
So you must look at the text. You just keep the question in your mind. The people or the person or the being, because I don't know the exact meaning about that people. What does mean people? People or human being. Also, the formless being. Also, they are being. I don't think they are people, right? Formless being are not people.
Person.
Person will not be person.
You.
The being. The being, the being who believe in three jewels from deep of their heart, they are Buddhist. The people who don't believe or who don't accept three jewels, they take refuge into the non-transcendent being. These are the non-Buddhist. So Buddhist and non-Buddhist, we can differentiate based on taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Buddhist, and non-Buddhist opposite. So, according to this text, when it's mentioned about non-Buddhist, you always think the non-Buddhist mean the Hindus people. Hindus. At that time, there was no Christian, no Islam, no other religion in India. Only Buddhists and Hindus and in general Jain. So non-Buddhists always refer to the Hindus and Jains. Okay. Second, the definition of Buddhist proponent and non-Buddhist proponent. So someone mentioned about the three seals or four seals. Or sometimes you can see three seals. Sometimes you can see different texts, four seals. It depends on the sutra. What are the four seals?
All confounded phenomena are
Impermanent.
All contaminated things are miserable. All phenomena are selfless.
Selfless.
Nirvana is peace.
So everybody please remember the four seals, So each, seal has a, logic. Why all compounded phenomena are impermanent, because they come into being due to their own causes and conditions. The things which is arise through causes condition, those must be impermanent. Then the contaminated phenomena are, miserable. The contaminated has a true meaning, the physical body which is we have also is contaminated phenomena. And also the affliction, all the mental afflictions are contaminated phenomena. So in Tibetan words we say Zakje Nyalengi Pungbo, this the physical body which we have, it is arise by through causes of karma and afflict emotion, also we call contaminated phenomena. And all the afflicted emotions include desire, attachment are contaminated phenomena, because all afflicted emotion contaminated by ignorance. In one of the texts says that ignorance and all the afflicted emotions are look like, physical body and the sensation of physical body. All the physical body, must, covered by the physical sensation. In your finger, top of the finger, there's a part of a body, it has a sensation. So this means the negative ignorance, contaminate through all the afflictive emotions. That's why we say contaminated phenomena. Even though the practitioner who narrowly become Buddha, he or she has a still contaminated. He has a physical body. The physical body is not contaminated by afflict emotions, but still contaminated by ignorance. Okay, the next one, all phenomena are selflessness, right?
Yes.
This all phenomena include, the permanent phenomena are also selflessness, dharma. So before you understand about the selflessness, but you must know the self. What does mean self? But when we say sugarless, right? It's sugarless. When we say I need a tea, without sugar, I need a sugarless tea. That means you need to know two things: tea and sugar. The sugar not in it. So all phenomena are selflessness. That means there's a self. And all phenomena are not, part of this self. So what the definition, what the idea about self? There's a three things, right? Self means permanent,
Singularity,
yes, unity or singleness, and independent. These are the kind of characteristic of kind of self. That's why any of the phenomena exists as a self. Then the phenomena must be permanent, must be singleness, must be independent. So this means all phenomena are not permanent. Someone is permanent but not singleness, not independent. That means we don't have a phenomena which is permanent, which is singleness, which is independent. This means all phenomena are selflessness. Nothing be exists as a permanent unity or singleness or independent. This we say all phenomena are selflessness. The person is selflessness. The external phenomena also selflessness. And nirvana is peace. It's so interesting to easy say, oh yes, of course, if I achieve nirvana, I will be very happy. I have a lot of peacefulness. So everybody must understand what does mean nirvana. Everybody must know what does mean Buddhahood. Is there Buddha land somewhere we can go? Not really. So I mentioned you before, Buddha Shakyamuni, according to the history, according to history, so Buddha Shakyamuni achieved Buddhahood or Nirvana where? In Bodh Gaya, under the Buddha tree or Buddha tree. So for him, that moment he achieved Buddhahood under the Buddha tree. So he didn't go somewhere, right? He practiced, diligently. Finally, when he eliminated, of course, all the gross negative emotions, ignorance. Finally, when he eliminated all the negative defilements, include subtle ignorance. There's no any, not any percentage. Not any percentage of negative thoughts, ignorance, afflictive emotions, then we say he achieved Buddhahood, he become a Buddha, she become a Buddha. We shouldn't think there's a particular land, we can go and we can come back. It can be, Bodh Gaya, that the place can be Buddha land for the Buddha Shakyamuni. The land can be the, samsara, for the people who not achieve Buddhahood. So that's why peace. So because the peace we can divide into two, kind of temporal peace and lasting peace. So when you achieve nirvana or Buddhahood, you are totally peaceful place. Your mind is totally peaceful state. So your nirvana is peaceful or peaceful. So this okay. Next, how many school we have according to Buddhism?
Geshe, can I ask a question? Last time when you talk about Buddhist and non-Buddhist, you actually said something like take refuge in three jewels, reject the views of Atma, everything exists depends on something, and then now you bring in these four seals. So can you actually?
Oh, no. The four seals, that is definition of the Buddhist proponent, not the definition of Buddhist.
It's not the Buddhist and non-Buddhist.
So Buddhist we can differentiate based on taking refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Also Buddhist we can differentiate based on the Buddha or the teacher. Also we can differentiate based on the view, Temba, Tawa. Also when we say the view, the Buddhists accept everything dependent. We believe everything arises through dependently. So we can differentiate based on taking refuge with Dharma, Sangha, based on Buddha, based on the views. View is not talking about emptiness, okay? View is talking about the interdependency. Okay. So how many schools do we have? We have 4 schools. Then we have 4 proponents, right? Proponents. What are the 4 schools? 4 schools. What are the 4 schools?
The Greek Exposition School, the Sutra School, Mind Only School, and Middle Way School.
Middle Way School. In the Sanskrit? Vaibhashika, Sotantrika, Chitta Mantra, Or the Madhyamaka. Madhyamaka is same, okay? We have a 4 school. Then we have a 4 proponents. Yeah. Then the 4 schools are they follow same teaching or different teachings?
They follow same teaching.
Yeah, of course, a Buddha teaching, but different, same kind of text.
No, based on full text.
Yeah. Yes. Of course, all the 4 proponents are follow the Buddha teaching, but they follow the specific teaching. So, for example, the Vabhashika follow which? Yeah, Abhidharma Kosha. If you're talking about the Buddha teaching,
first telling of the wheel.
The first wheel of Dharma, So the first 2 schools, first 4 2 proponents, Vabhashika and Suttadhitaka follows the first wheel of Dharma, which is the 4 noble truths. And that time when Buddha gave, the teaching about 4 noble truths, he didn't mention so many complexity about the views, so he gave very simple teachings. And we must know the history of about the 4 noble truths. Also, we must know the 5 disciples. So before he become, I think don't is I don't think it's mentioned everything very clear in the text, but before Buddha Shakyamuni achieved nirvana or Buddhahood, all the 5 disciples were with him for many years. They practiced together in forest. Everybody, abandoned to eating like a dinner, eating so many things. And finally, Buddha understood, yes, I'm too extreme. I don't think I'm going to achieve nirvana if I follow this particular tradition. So he started to eat food, drink, so and so. That's why the 5 disciples were not so happy with Buddha. Then they left to Varanasi. There's two words, Varanasi, Varna and Si. Varanasi. Varanasi. There's 2 rivers coming together. That's called Varanasi. 2 water together. And after he achieved Buddhahood, and the first 4 weeks, Buddha didn't give any teaching according to the the common in common sense. So he just remains in silently, and the many people requested him to give a teaching. He didn't accept. Finally, Sangba,
Indra and Brahma.
the 4 face Brahma. Sangba,
Indra.
Indra. He requested to Buddhas, give a teaching. Then he accepted to give a teaching. Then first time he gave a teaching to the 5 disciples in Varanasi. And that moment, first he said, he just come and sit there. Then he just started teaching. This is the truth of the suffering. Talk about the first truth. This is the cause, the ignorance, attachment, and karma are the cause of the suffering. And this is the cessation. This is the path towards cessation. He just talked very simply about the 4 noble. What is the cause of the suffering? What is the cause of the cessation? Then there's this is we call the first wheel of teaching. In another, according to Mahayan tradition, as soon as he achieved Buddhahood, he started to give a teaching. The first time he gave a teaching about emptiness. I don't know how to translate in English, but in the Tibetan say, Zabji total, Osa Dumaje, Dusi Tabu, Chuji Koye, Sulatanya, or Minube, Mima Sagin, Mima Nagi Saban Nebarjas. I hope you saw in English. He said, I understood the profound and peace kind of teaching. I understood, I know it, but I don't think anybody going to understand the teaching. It's so profound, so subtle. I don't think anybody could understand. So that's why I'm not going to give any teaching. I want to remain silently in the forest. At that moment, he already talked about emptiness, the profound teaching. So the first, the fourth teaching about four truths is not the first teaching of the Buddha, according to Mahayan tradition. So the first two, proponents follow the first teaching, which is the Four Noble Truths. Okay? And that time Buddha talked about the selflessness. He didn't talk about emptiness. And the first two schools just, follow the sutra teaching. They don't accept, of course, they don't accept Tantrayana teaching, even though they don't accept the Mahayan teaching. The first two schools. The latest, after a few hundred years, and some of the, the Vipashika school, Sutandatika school, they accept the Mahayan teaching, but they never accept the Tantrayana teaching. Only Sutra and little bit Mahayan. The next, so we have a Chittamantra school or Chittamantra school proponents. They follow which teaching?
The third teaching.
Third teaching. What is the third teaching?
The great differentiation.
Okay, the great differentiation teaching. Then we have a Madhyamaka school, or the Madhyamaka proponent. They follow which teaching?
Second of the turning wheels and
Yeah.
object emptiness.
The teaching name, Praja Paramita, profound wisdom teaching. So look at, before we understand the the great differentiation teaching, first we need to know the subject about Praja Paramita teaching. All the Buddha teaching, which is he talk about something, the all subject matters, we have only 108 numbers. 108. Delgam Gyaza Yet. Okay? Whatever he talks about, about any of the 108 subjects. 108 subjects is very important.
This is in the second teaching, the third.
Yeah, first, second, third, whatever he talk about among the 108. So the next time I will give you the numbers, and also I will teach you it in detail. And within the 108 numbers is two categories. One is the positive sides, one is the negative sides. So whatever you read a teaching about Buddha, Buddhism, or whatever you read books, you're going to see he talk about Four Noble Truths, or talk about 12 links, interdependence, origination, or talk about at Arya paths, or four powers, so and so, so and so. There's a lot more than not a subject which is not included into 108. So in the second teaching, when he give about the emptiness, that moment Buddha said everything, all phenomena empty of inherent existence, empty of independent, so that's means everything exists as a merely designations. He didn't differentiate, this bodies exist solidly, inherently, that bodies exist, kind of lack of something. There's no any exception. All phenomena, empty of inherent existence. All phenomena empty of independence. Nothing exists, independently. Everything exists dependently. Then look at the followers or some, attender got a doubt, got a question. Okay, first when he talked about Four Noble Truths, he said everything exists, kind of inherently, independently, look like. The second thing does not exist independently. There's a contradiction. First he said, everything is white. Second he said everything is black. Then there's a contradiction. Then they got a question. Then they ask question to the Buddha. What do you mean the first time when you give a teaching about Four Noble Truths? You mention, it's very roughly said all phenomena exist inherently. Second time when you talk about, Parajaparamita, you talk things are exist, dependently. Nothing exists independently. Everything is empty of inherent existence. And we can see this contradiction. Then Buddha, replies according to their question. Then some people don't really understand why everything is empty of inherence. Then Buddha said, okay, all phenomena we can divide into three categories, three groups. What are they? Of course, I know, I don't think you remember, those also you are very new. So now you remember the three phenomena according to Chitta Mantra school.
Matters, consciousness, unassociated information.
Okay, I will start one thing. Other power. Zhenwang. Other power. Second, natures. Third is, imputed phenomena. Imputation phenomena. Other power, Zhenwang, and, natures, Yonten, and imputation phenomena. Then Buddha, divided all phenomena into three groups. Then he said, all the powered phenomena exist inherently, as well as the nature exists inherently. The imputation phenomena not exist inherently. That's I mean everything exists, nothing exists inherently. That's mean he differentiate between the three phenomena. Someone exists inherently, some does not exist inherently. So this is differentiate for not all the gender. He differentiate the people who don't understand, that everything is empty of inherent exists. So according to Chitta Mantra schools, all other powered phenomena and all the natures exist inherently. All the imputation phenomena not exist inherently. Then we can say, great differentiate teaching. So the Chitta Mantra school follow the third teaching, the Madhyamaka follow the middle teaching, called Parpa, middle view of Dharma, or teaching about the Parajaparamita. That's why you can see very clearly, according to the first, true school, they accept everything exists inherently. It's very similar with the common people. And then the Madhyamaka said, no, nothing exists inherently. Everything is empty of inherent exists. everything is a lack of inherent phenomena. Everything. Then the Chitta Mantra school says, no, not all phenomena empty of inherent exists. Some of exist inherently, some of not. The definition. Okay. The next, we just go. So then we talk about, that there are 4 proponents, 4 schools. Each school claim themselves, we are the Madhyamakas, we are the middle school, right? According to Madhyama school, 3 schools are, falls into 2 extremes, okay? According to Madhyamaka school, according to Nagarjuna, follower says, all other 3 schools falls into 2 extremes. What are the 2 extremes?
And is annihilation.
Annihilation, extreme of permanence, extreme of inhalation. These are the 2 extremes. That's why we say, look at, you should walk in the middle, right? If somebody told you, you should walk in the middle road, that means you must know, there's another 2 roads side by side. So middle way school is, you need a middle way of thinking. You need a middle way view. You have to avoid the extreme of permanent. You have to avoid extreme of inhalation. So 4 school has 4 different how to avoid extreme. Okay, so everybody look at the text when you go back to your home. What are how they avoid the extreme. Then we talk about the first school. The Vibhashika school has how many parts? It has 4. Definition, sub-schools, etymology, assertion. Very important, okay? The definition and sub-school, etymology and assertion. So look at the Buddhist tradition is very precise. So before we have a debate, which is right, which is wrong, which is good, which is bad, which is big, which is small, first we must have a definition. Without definition, you cannot have an argument. For example, before you have an argument about Singapore dollar and American dollar, you must know, kind of the definition of American dollar and Singapore dollar. Then you can have an argue about it. Otherwise, you cannot have an argue. So definition is so important. So we have a definition about, the Vibhashika school, Vibhashika proponent. We have a sub-school, then we have a epistemology, then we have a assertion. So what is the definition of the proponent of Vibhashika school?
A person propounding lesser legal tenets who do not accept self-cognizing consciousness and who asserts external objects are being truly established.
It is the definition of proponent of Vibhashika school. Okay, can you repeat the definition?
A person propounding lesser vehicle tenets who does not accept self-cognizing consciousness and who asserts external objects as being truly established. Okay, very good. So everybody, memorize the definition. It's very short, not very long. So okay, so next, Karen. So how many sub-school it has? 3. What are they?
Kashmiri, the
Aparanatika,
Magadas.
Yeah, Magadha.
Magadha.
And there's another sub-school, right? It has another 18 sub-schools.
Yeah.
The last time that I mentioned about there were 18 sub-schools. Is also I talk about the dream of King Titi. He has a dream. Then next he asks question to Buddha. Okay, definition and then sub-school. So definition. So the next, Kunji, can you tell me what is the epistemology of the Vimashika? She's worried. I'm going to ask questions. Okay, Kunji, can you tell me that epistemology of etymology of Vimashika school?
One profounds tenets following the great detailed exposition. And he also profounds that the 3 times, past, present, and future objects are particular or instances of substantial entities.
Yeah, that's good. Look at in the Sanskrit language, there's a Vimashika. I'm not sure the meaning is Cheta Marwa in Tibetan and Cheta Marwa. When the Cheta Marwa, the words translated in English, they say Great Exposition School. It's an exact translation as a Tibetan from Tibetan language. Cheta Marwa. Look at Cheta Marwa. There's a Great Exposition School. Mean these schools follow particular teaching. The teaching, the text name is Great Exposition. Cheta Shecho Chemo. There's a I think big, huge text. So the school follow this teaching as well as the most important. They follow the sutra. They don't accept any tantra and Mahayan teaching. The second, the epistemology also is a Cheta Mawa. There's a word Cheta is particular. Okay, particular. Cheta particular. That's means according to this school. Okay, the next one carry you. So why we name, Great Exposition position? There's a 2.
Geshe, I'm a bit confused. Can you explain the meaning of this word etymology? Actually, what does it mean?
Okay, this is good. For example, can you give me etymology of Singaporean? Yeah. Born in Singapore and live in Singapore as a Singaporean, citizen. It's kind of not really definition. Kind of.
Is it a characteristics?
No,
Kind
so
of-
it's where it comes
It's
from.
like a characteristic.
Where it comes from.
Yeah, kind of idea.
Where it comes from?
Yeah,
Kind of where it.
Dashe.
How do you become a Singaporean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we name, Cheta Mawa or Great Exposition School because they follow the text. The name is Great Exposition. So they follow the text. They say, oh, this is the kind of epistemology. The second one, a particular, can you see the page? Yeah.
Yeah. Proponent of the particular school.
The epistemology. There's a 2 parts. One, they follow the particular text, which is the Great Exposition. Second,
The second sentence,
Okay.
very
The 3
last.
times.
Yeah.
3 times, yeah. Right? So also we say Cheta Mawa. Cheta is a particular. Mawa means like a saying. So according to this school, they're saying the 3 times: future, present, or present,
Present.
Present.
Past.
past is exists. Not only exists, it exists as well as 3 term is the particular of substantial
Entities.
what
Entities.
entity. Okay, so according to this school, The three term is, the exist is not only exist, it is part of the substantial entity. Then I mentioned last time, particular. When we say particular, that means there's a general. There's no general, there's no particular. There's no particular, there is no general. Okay. So do you remember the idea? Do you have some idea what does mean particular? Of course, you are not all in last class, so you must remember, and you must remember what does mean particular, what does mean general. Okay, everybody, okay, don't feel shy, just speak out.
Particular is just like Singaporean.
Very good.
General, like human being. This is your example.
Yeah, that's good. Singaporean is particular, human being is general. Okay. Also, Singaporean could be particular as well as could be general true, right? There's no real contradiction between general truth. So also, some phenomena only particular, never be general. Some phenomena always be general, never be particular. Some phenomena be both particular as well as general. Okay, so why we call them, Singaporean is a particular, human being is general. What is the links? Now we need to know the link, the connection. That means Singaporean are human being. If there's a Singaporean exists, there's a human being exists. If there's a human being cease, then there's a Singaporean also cease. If there's no human being, there's no Singaporean. There's a Singaporean, there's a human being. But Singaporean are human being not Singaporean. Singaporean can be, human being can be Singaporean, can be Indonesian, can be Indian, can be Chinese. So because particular in general. But we must know the connection, okay? So next we're going to learn how many types of connection. Sunam, do you remember?
Mutually inclusive, mutually exclusive.
No.
Both.
No. I'm asking you that how many types of connection?
Four.
Four.
What connection? This kind of connection that you're talking about.
Look at,
To be and.
this is, I think, 8 points. I think you are saying about the 8 points. Connection is very important. So look at, we Buddhists, we don't accept, there's a such thing, they create everything. We don't accept. Why things are exist here? Why things happen? Why something not happen? Things happen because the causes conditions are there. I really want to happen something is never happened in my life. Why not? Because all the conditions and causes are not there. It's never happened in your life. So we always talk about causes, condition, and result. There must be connection between result, have to be connection between result and cause. For example, fire and smoking. Because now we have a big haze in Singapore. Why we have a haze? Because there is a fire in Indonesia. Due to fire, the fire produces a lot of smoke. Then the smoke has a connection with the fire. There's a fire, then there's a possibility of the smoking. The smoking has a connection with the fire. We call this connection is interdependent connection. Second, we call because of twins, more cheaper. Okay, so we can learn more. So okay, so this connection. Okay, so human being in Singapore has a connection. That's why we call. When we say there's a general true thing here, this is general, that is particular. That means you have to think two things or three things. This is connection with the general. The particular must have a connection with the general. And the particular and general must be separate. There must be two things. One thing never have a connection, right? One thing, one phenomena we cannot say it has a connection. When you talk about connection, there must be two things, right? Like, for example, I have a connection with my parents. That means me and my parents are two, not one. Oneness. That means when you really try to understand the particular and general, the particular phenomena and general phenomena are separate. They are not oneness, they are two. The second, the particular must have a connection with the general. The third, if the general phenomena no more exists, then particular phenomena are no more exist. The three things very important, okay? Three things. Are you hearing? Three things very important, okay? First, the general and particular always be separate. Second, the particular must have a connection. Third, when the general phenomena no more exists, the particular have to cease. This is the kind of law of between particular and general. Then we talk about three, future, present, and past are part of the substantial entity. Then we have a question about, according to Buddhist philosophy, all the conditioned phenomena, depend on the condition, this conditioned phenomena. It must be exist due to lot of condition. This is conditioned phenomena. All conditioned phenomena must have a true condition, true cause. Okay, all conditioned phenomena must have a two different causes. One, primary cause. Second, secondary cause. For example, the golden ring. The gold, is the primary cause of the golden ring, earring. The people who made it, all the people, all the other tools are the secondary cause of the golden earring. Then we think about the human being. We have a physical body, we have a mind. The physical body, the primary cause must be coming from our parents, genes or whatever, physical body. And the secondary cause, the heat and the food, so many things. These are the secondary cause. Then I ask you a question, what is the substantial or what is the primary cause of the present? What is the primary cause of the future? What is the primary cause of the past? Because they say these are the conditioned phenomena. Then I ask you, the sound. What is the primary cause of the sound? Secondary, yes, the baby, this is for you, okay, you shouldn't have a confusion when I say what is the primary cause of the sound, and what is the primary cause of this clock. Then you're going to have a confusion because sound is just a single object, right? Just one. It doesn't have a lot of parts. Maybe the verb is maybe primary cause, or maybe the wind may be primary cause. You need to think. But the sound doesn't have a continuum as a sound. Okay? Look at it. After a few minutes, there's no any continuum of the sound. But like this table, this cup, the physical, the hard things, they always have a continuum. This table, maybe 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, this continuum must be chunk of tree. Then 100 years ago, there was small kind of planet. The planet become tree, then cut and dry and cut and make a table. the heart part always have a continuum, but sound doesn't have a, the continuum. It's just arise, after a few minutes, no more continuum, sound. Then next, of course, the company who made the watch, this clock, the person and the companies are the secondary cause. What is the primary cause of this clock? Of course, different people have a different answer. From you? No. The primary cause of the clock. It's come from somewhere, right? What is the primary cause? You, excuse me.
Can I ask the question before you?
First, answer my question, please.
Because I've been thinking of how to ask you the question.
Okay.
Because can I ask the question before we proceed? Because if not, this will not make any sense. Okay. I do not understand when you are saying about the general and the particular. The part you explained before is I understand, but but I do not know why you suddenly go into the law of particular and general. The 3 points is very clear, but I do not know. Suddenly you bring in the future, past, present is part of substantial entity. How does it link?
Because I follow the text for the definition, the epistemology. There's a true. Then the why we call the great exposition. That means they accept. They claim three times is the part of the substantial entity. Then we related to this. I will talk about the primary cause and secondary cause.
Like the 3 times, the etymology, the 3 times past, present and future are particulars or instances of substantial entities. Until now, this sentence, I have problem. I'm trying to understand. So actually, I'm not listening to you. I'm trying to understand what is it. And then, is substantial entity means general?
In the future, everybody, and when I talk about, you just pay attention about my speaking, okay? Don't really absorb in your own idea, in your thought. So look at that. So can you tell me what is the epistemology of the Great Exposition School?
So you're saying the Great Exposition School, the etymology, there are 2 parts. They follow the text, Great Exposition. And the second part, you're saying that 3 times exist. And it exists in particular. Okay?
So it's only 3 times?
This is the part that I am actually thinking. You're saying 3 times exists is particular of substantial entity. This is the part that I okay.
Because when it's a kind of translation problem, in Tibetan language we are saying cheta mawa. Okay, cheta in particular. Mawa means like a saying or propounding. So according to this school, they propound, okay, the 3 times is part of substantial entity. They says, okay.
Wait, just a minute.
They says, okay. They say. So they says, the school says, they say what? They say the 3 times are part of the substantial entity. They says, according to this school, okay, the 3 times is conditioned phenomena.
3 times is conditional.
Then there's a doubt. If 3 times are the condition, then there must have a substantial cause or primary cause. Substantial cause or primary causes are many similar. There must have a secondary cause. Then we talk about what are the substantial cause and secondary cause.
Okay, then now it makes more sense why you bring in the substantial cause.
That's why you are just absorbing in.
No, I do not know why you suddenly bring about the conditional.
So what is the primary cause of this clock? Primary. I'm not sure. Secondary is very easy.
Primary cause, the material that makes the clock, maybe the.
Can you say what is the primary cause of this clock?
The plastic.
Plastic. Okay, just say plastic. And you? Plastic?
The acrylic, the plastic.
Huh?
The plastic.
Plastic.
Clock.
Clock. Sonam?
Parts.
No. Primary cause.
Yeah, the parts.
Parts is together with the clock. It never be cause of the clock. Okay?
Isn't that primary cause because people want to tell the time? They want.
No.
Isn't it
Oh,
caused by
usually
people's
the
desire to
function.
have-
When you say what's the function of the
Function.
watch? There is a
Trying
time.
to tell time.
Time. I'm not asking the function.
No, I'm not
The
saying, I'm
duty.
saying, but the cause of it being here.
Mhm.
If people didn't want a clock, there wouldn't be one.
Okay. So what is the primary cause of the clock?
Everything that's brought together, all the parts.
Put together.
Yeah.
You all say
Plastic. Look at when we talk, then between people have a different ideas. That's why we have 4 schools. She said time. She has some confusion between the function of the clock and primary cause. If most of you say the plastic, and some say the parts. According to Buddhist philosophy, okay, the primary cause of this clock and clock never coexist. Never coexist.
Repeat that
Coexist.
one. What does it coexist?
The cause and itself
Cause and result will not exist simultaneously.
simultaneously. Never coexist.
When you see cause, there's no result. When you see result, there is no cause.
Moment of the duration of the cause, there's no result of their own. Duration of the result time, the cause will cease. So that means Sonam say the past of this clock is always together with the clock. The past never be the primary cause. The plastic. So the clock, when you say the clock, it has many parts. Some of the parts made of plastic, some of the parts made of steel, metal. So that's why somebody asks, what is the primary cause of the watch? You have to say, I need to talk more, more precisely. Are you talking which? If you're talking the black part is made of plastic. If you're talking the hands thing, is the steel or the metal. We cannot say this is the cause of this.
There's many causes.
So there's many different. Even the one clock has many parts. According to parts, there's many substance, many primary causes. We cannot say one become one single part never become a clock. There is yes.
Michelle, then the gold and golden ring example that you gave, it cannot be used for this school to explain primary cause, right? Because the primary cause of the golden ring is gold. But when you look at the golden ring, the gold is still there.
Oh, I'm not saying that just gold, okay? So if it's really good sonams, yes, come talk about, look at, when somebody wear the golden ring, there's a golden earring there. At that moment, that gold is there, right? So then we have to talk more precisely. Okay, so what it was, I'm a bit worried about the time. Okay, cause has a two category. Immediate cause and immediate cause and non-immediate cause. Then I mentioned last time, like 3 minutes. 3 minutes kind of duration as things. Let's say middle. Let's say you can see
Direct and indirect.
direct and indirect cause. Look at these are 3 together, right? Let's say this is the result. For example, it's not this is a result. This is the direct cause. This is cause, not indirect, it's an indirect cause. For example, your parents are your direct cause. Your great parents are your cause, not direct, but they are indirect cause. Okay? So the goal, so which is talking about the primary, I'm not talking general goal. Before the goal thrown as an array, I'm talking about that goal. So we have to go more precisely. Yes?
So Geshe, you talk about primary cause, secondary cause. Now you talk about direct, indirect. You talk about immediate, not immediate. So are they the same thing?
No. Within the cause, okay, primary has a direct primary, indirect primary cause. Secondary has a direct primary, indirect. So some look at when you got some effect, something you got effect directly, something you got effect indirectly. For example, we got the fire effect from Indonesia. We not got the fire effect directly. We got indirectly effect because the fire maker produce the smoke. The produce come to Singapore, then we got sick. Has. Okay. Now we move next one about assertion. Okay, the definition finished, and there's a lot of talk. The assertion. What in your mind? What do you think the meaning of assertion? In your mind, just think your own way. Assertion.
Insert.
Someone says.
Huh?
Insert.
Set.
Insert. Put it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And you?
You assert something, you say this is what's happening.
You say something.
Yeah.
Assertion, right? Yeah, I think everybody has a some idea. But the assertion, when we say assertion, is very strong statement. Very strong statement. Okay. For example, this is my kind of assertion. I always maintain this view. I always maintain this view. This is my assertion. It's a very strong statement. So according to this, this school, so assertion has how many parts? Three. What are they? Basis, parts, and result. Right? Ji, lam, ribu. Basis, parts, and result. Also look at in Buddhist philosophy is so it doesn't mean I have very strong sense of ego or sense of attachment or Buddhist tradition. It's very very nice basis. If you have a good knowledge about basis, then you're going to have a parts. If you follow the parts, then you're going to have a result. For example, before you build a house, you need a land, ground. Without land, you cannot build anything. You have a land, then you're able to build a house. After you build a house, then you're going to have a good life, or you have a kind of enjoy things in the house, like basis, parts, and result. And also look at in the Buddhist philosophy, in Buddhist science, very very nice. All phenomena brings together, then they divide into they make two categories. Look at in the modern science, everything is separate. We cannot bring in one field, then we can divide this way, right? Do you think in the modern science, somebody talks, because atom, somebody talk about brain, somebody talk about so many different fields, they cannot bring in together very simple way. Look at in Buddhist philosophy, all phenomena, we talk all phenomena, just in two categories, permanent or impermanent. There are no any, something in the middle. And within the impermanent, very easy, form, consciousness, non-acid formation, very easy way. Okay, assertion is very strong statement. It has a basis, and parts and result. It's same for other school. Other school have a definition, As was definition, sub-school, epistemology, and assertion. Assertion is always three parts: basis, parts, and result. Look at, it starts to tell you, if you really want to achieve, really wish to achieve Buddhahood, really wish to have achieved kind of lasting happiness, the happiness never come without causes condition. Then you have to go through the paths, the sequencing, the paths. But the paths, if you really want to follow the path, you must know the paths. In order to know the path, then you must know the basis. So look at, without you understand the law of causality of the external phenomena, you never understand the law of your inner emotions. Look at, there's a fire. Fire can produce smoke. Smoke can produce black things. If you have a black things, then must the black come from, like said, made of, the black come from smoke. Oh, this is black. This come from where? Smoke. Smoke come from where? Fire. If there's no fire, no smoke, no black. That means first we have to understand the law of cause and condition about the external phenomena. Then second, you just think about your inner world. Okay, this morning I was not happy. The unhappiness coming from where? Not coming from sky, not growing from on the land. It's coming from somewhere. Then you need to know what is the cause of the unhappiness. Yes, that unhappiness coming from the destruction mind, right? Destruction mind. All the destruction mind must become from ignorance. The ignorance is the root. Ignorance is destructive mind. The destructive mind produces a lot of unhappiness, right? Then the basis, then path and result. So when they talk about basis, so what they talk about?
Two parts of the basis.
Yeah.
Assertion about object and subject.
Object, subject, very important. Object, subject. Okay. Also, you shouldn't have a misunderstanding between subjective. Okay. They say, oh, this is your subjective. Nothing real happened. Say many people say it's subjective. It's not reality. It's just created by your own mind. So it's subjective. They say, oh, objective. I mean, it's there. It's real happened there. So it's not exactly the same meaning. So in Tibetan language, we say yul, object. Yulchen. We say yulchen means the thing who has an object. When you can subject and object.
Geshe, in the text you use the word object possessor for subject.
Yeah. Object, subject, object possessor. Yeah. This means yulchen. This because they translate from Tibetan language. In Tibetan say yulchen. So for example, who has a shopkeeper? That is a shop and shopkeeper. The shopkeeper means who own the shop. They be shopkeeper. Subject, possessor. Mean all subject must have a object. Without object, then we cannot name subject. For example, I'm a mother, I'm a father. It doesn't mean father or mother that must have a child. Without child, we cannot say he or she is a father or mother, right? So we have a subject and object. So within the subject, how many parts? According to this school, all phenomena include into how many?
Two truths.
Include into 5. Right? Include into 5. Can you read the sentence?
Basic categories.
Huh?
This is objects, isn't it?
Yeah, object.
Object or subject?
Yulji, the tangbo, the fast.
Appearing forms,
Good.
main minds,
Mm-hmm.
accompanying mental factors,
Mm-hmm. Then next one.
compositional factors not associated with either minds or mental factors,
Uh-huh.
and uncompounded phenomena.
Okay, look at very nice. And this school, also is the same thing, all phenomena, including the permanent and impermanent. Within the impermanent, they divide the impermanent. They divide into four.
5, 4.
Four. Right. Now, so in English. So please everybody remember. Will remember. All phenomena divide into five. Five. Yeah. Five objects are okay. So object and subjects 5. Appearance, appearing forms, then man minds, accompanying mental factors. So the appearing forms, then they talk about internal and external forms. Okay, all forms must include into appearing form. The man minds. We have actually 5 minds and also 6, also 8 minds. Okay, there is a 6 mind. So eyes mind, air, nose, tongue, body, and 6th mind. And according to Chitta Mantra school, they claim there are 8 minds, but this school accepts only 6 minds, man minds. Then next one, accompanying mental factors. It has how many? 52. Okay, 52 or 51 mental factors. Right? Huh?
We learned that it's a long time ago, didn't we?
Yeah. Actually, I already hand over the paper. Okay, so if you are interested, what are they? Just type in Google. Mental factors is show about all the mental factors. It's also explained different school has a different concept, different ideas. Actually 52 or 51 mental factors. The next one, compositional factors. It just is mean not associated with mind or mental factors. There's been something exists, as it exists, they be impermanent, but they are not, form, neither consciousness. For example, person, being, Buddha Shakyamuni, they are, phenomenon, but they are not consciousness. For example, human being, you are not consciousness, whereas you are not form. The next one, uncompounded phenomena. Because it's translated from Tibetan language. In Tibetan language, we say Dhyuma Chegi Namka. This means the space is, phenomena, but the space is not compounded phenomena. Space is uncompounded phenomena. It doesn't have the causes and conditions, but it depends on something. Okay, even the space is depend on something, but it doesn't have the conditions. Next, then we talk about these 5 objects are things. Okay, this by object means this mentioned above, appearance form, main minds, accompanying mental factors, compositional factors, and uncompounded phenomenon are, the 5 objects are things. Then look at the definition of the things. What is the definition of things? Can you read in English?
Able to perform a function.
That which is able to perform a function. Okay. The phenomena which is able to perform a function is the definition of things. According to Buddhist philosophy, thing not always refer to the table and chair and so on. Okay. Things means any case, everything is thing according to this school. Okay, according to this school. And also I mentioned in last class, according to Buddhism, Buddhist tradition or Buddhist philosophy, everything is dharma. Okay, dharma. Dharma has a 2 meaning. One, dharma means, all phenomena must have their unique characteristic. All phenomena has their unique kind of function. That we call dharma. Rangi mo zimba. Should sing it. And next dharma has another meaning of the Buddha dharma. So the Buddha dharma has 2 categories, right? You remember what are they? Buddha dharma, transmitted teaching as well as realized teaching. Okay. The transmitted teaching means the sound. So the lady who came in this class, I forgot her name, my English teacher. Margaret. She mentioned expressive sound. Look at it. When it's expressive sound, the sound is not only sound, carries something, how to explain something, right? So the transmitted teaching and the realized teaching. The Buddha teaching includes only 2, transmitted or realized, and that's why Lobsang, Asanga, right? Brother of Vasubandhu. Asanga is the younger brother to Vasubandhu.
Vasubandhu is the older.
That's when the younger brother is Asanga. He's one of the famous scholars who wrote about the Abhidharma. He said Buddha Dharma has only 2 categories: the transmitted and the realized teaching. That what the definition of we can say he's someone is the protector of dharma, or protect or preserver of Buddha Dharma. You can be preserver of Buddha Dharma. How we can preserve Buddha Dharma? They said Buddha Dharma has only 2: the transmitted teaching and the realized teaching. You can preserve the transmitted teaching through study and give a teaching. This meaning of preserving the transmitted teaching. The next, what does mean? How you can preserve the realized teaching? Through your practice. Very simple, Buddha Dharma is just transmitting teaching, which you can study, as well you can practice, you can teach other. This continuously, you can teach other can teach other can teach it. That relies in practice. So Dharma, the things not necessarily when travel and share in house. According to this school, everything, all phenomena are things. The definition of thing, that which is able to perform a function. Then existent, the things, existent, object of knowledge, and things are mutually inclusive. Okay, that means this clock is thing. This clock is existent. The clock is object of knowledge. This clock is thing. Why it is thing? Because it is perform a function. It's perform showing a time. Why it is object of knowledge? This is aware by a knowledge, aware by consciousness. This is object of knowledge. Shecha. The next one is thing, right? Then means mutually inclusive. Then we talk about the 8 points, right? 8 points. Be together, non-being together, exist together, non-exist together. For example, something is object of knowledge, the necessary be thing. Something be thing, they necessarily be object of knowledge. Something is exist, things are exist, the knowledge objects have to be exist. Object of knowledge exists, thing have to be exist. The mutually inclusive. Whatever is, then one is the other. And uncompounded phenomena are considered to be permanent thing. This is a very unique concept in this school, okay? So next, the last one, uncompounded phenomena. Other school, okay? Other Sutandatika school, Chittamantra, Madhyamaka school, they never accept, uncompounded phenomena is, things. According to this school, they say, uncompounded phenomena are considered to be permanent thing. That means uncompounded phenomena. For example, space is thing, but not impermanent. Permanent and impermanent is contradiction phenomenon. Okay, one object never be permanent, never be impermanent. One object be permanent, necessarily non-impermanent. One object be permanent, necessarily not be impermanent. It's totally contradictory phenomena. Yes?
Sheila, can we go back to the basic? Can you define what is uncompounded phenomena?
Yeah. Look at compound. What does it mean in English? Compound. Many things come together. Compound, right? Compound. That means in Tibetan language we say do, come together, bring together, do. And che, many things come together, and many causes condition come together, then be exists. Yes. And uncompounded is exists, but nothing, it doesn't have many things come together, it's just being exists. Not so one thing, it doesn't have a condition, not causes condition, but is depend on something.
Depend on something.
On something, but not depend on causes and conditions.
Not produced by cause and
Yeah, not produced by causes condition, but still depend on something. So today we stop here. So now for the next Lamrim kind of the homework, please send a message. Everybody try to memorize the 35 Buddha's name. Okay? 35.
35.
I'm not saying 100.
Can we memorize Vajrasattva mantra?
Huh?
Just because I already memorized.
Okay, so